Tonight's first order of business, layoffs at Bombardier as a global sales slowdown hits another one of its business jets. But it's just the latest blow for Bomber, which said in February it was restructuring in a big way with the new CEO, suspension of the dividend, and moves to raise more capital, all of which appeared to come from a place of desperation to preserve cash in the hopes of hanging on long enough for its promised new jet to be a success. Welcome to The Exchange on CBC News Network. Bombardier helped change the aircraft industry with its regional and business jets. These days, it's just trying to survive it. In another sign of turbulent times, the company has announced mass layoffs in its business jets unit. Bombardier says it will cut 1,750 jobs. That includes 1,000 in Montreal and 480 in Toronto. 280 jobs in Belfast will also disappear. Pink slips will start hitting desks next month and continue into early 2016. In a letter to employees, the company wrote, "This is a difficult but necessary decision. Necessary because of what's happening outside of Canada. China, Latin America, and Russia are buying fewer planes amid economic and political strife. So Bombardier is pulling back on production of its global 5,000 and 6,000 business jets. Still, the company says the outlook for its global 7,000 and 8,000 aircraft remains strong." Bombardier made the decision based on this. Business jet orders dropped from 46 in last year's first quarter to 19 this year. The company perhaps saw that coming. Back in January, it pressed pause on the development of its new business aircraft, the Learjet 85. It was supposed to be ready in 2013. There are serious delays in its commercial unit, too. The new C-Series jetliner is 3 years behind schedule and $2 billion over budget. Here's how investors have digested the news. The stock is down nearly 40% over the past year, trading at a 10-year low. Analysts say the company is running out of cash and excuses for all the delays. I talked earlier to Karl, Associate Prof of Management at McGill University, and I started by asking him just how bad this news is.
Well, it's certainly a significant number of people in Montreal and Toronto, quite a few in Belfast, but mainly Montreal and Toronto. And it's probably, 20% of the workforce here in Montreal at this point. So it's pretty big numbers. But it's something where at the AGM last week, Pierre Baudouin and then Alain Bellemare suggested that there'd be some layoffs coming up quickly because of the low sales of the 5,000, 6,000, particularly in China, Brazil, and Russia.
So Bombardier has taken a series of steps. They announced them in February, really restructuring, right? We've got a new CEO. They suspended the Learjet program. They suspended the dividend. All of that looks, Karl, like emergency measures, like a company that's really trying to make sure its balance sheet is intact. Are they on the right track? Are they doing the right things?
Well, you're absolutely right, Amanda. That's what they're doing, is that with the C-Series being a couple $1 billion over and a couple years late, therefore virtually no revenue coming in, cash flow is very, very tough. And so that's why Alain came in from UTC and Pierre went up to executive chairman. It's dramatic action, and they're really battening the hatches because it's a difficult time right now. And this is the sort of decisions you got to make. Part of that is the C-Series and the cash flow issues there. In this case, they're also looking at it with, where are we doing well, where are we not doing well? And they saw the 5,000 and 6,000 were not selling well, the numbers were down. We just can't keep producing planes that we're not selling at the rate we need to. So this is a bit of a separate decision, but certainly the overall concern about the health of the company makes them look more sharply at all the business units.
And let's talk about the C-Series. As you say, over budget, it's delayed. Has that been a mismanaged project for Bombardier?
Well, almost by definition it is, because when you're a couple years late and a couple billion over, it's mismanaged. Now, you ask, is that predictable? Were we optimistic, or were they optimistic in doing that? When you look at the A380 a couple years late and over budget as well, the Dreamliner a couple years late and over budget as well, it seems like this is the nature of these brand new airplane systems like this. So it's something which perhaps is predictable. Bombardier said, no, we've done a lot of introductions. We know what we're doing, right on the right track, appeared to be wrong. So clearly mistakes were made and estimates were just way off.
When we see a company making moves that seem to be aimed at preserving cash, one does worry that it's a company worried about some dire outcome. Is there a rational fear there that Bombardier is worried about actually not having enough cash?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question there's a cash flow crunch, and that's why they're making these fairly dramatic moves of laying off thousands of people over the last couple of years, of reducing the headquarters of aerospace very dramatically, reducing production rates and so on. This is exactly what you'd expect to do, bringing in a new CEO, it's a company that is troubled right now. But I think with the C-Series, it's about 70% done testing. They've got close to 300 orders, need more orders for sure. We hope to see some at the Paris Air Show. Is that there's hope in the medium and long term, but it's tough times right now. But at least there's a sense that we got a great new product that's going to do well in the marketplace. We just need to hold on for that to come out. So at least, unlike a Nortel or BlackBerry in its day, there's hope of a much brighter future in the not too distant future.
And do you believe there is reason for optimism around that C-Series after delay and orders that fall through? You're still a believer that this will be the product that helps turn the company around?
Well, it's a great product from talking to people that work there. People have seen it. I was at the launch of it, talked to many customers, talked to Bob DeLuce at Porter and so on. I think it's a great product. Now, the question is, will enough people sign up for it? And that's an open issue. But Alain and the whole senior team was out there talking as Pierre to customers around the world and really pushing at getting those orders in. That's the question remains. But I think it's a superb product. Whether it's one the world needs right now is the question. My 2 cents worth it is, but I'm not responsible enough to do anything.
Now, it did look as though this was a series of moves, drastic moves to buy time. Have they bought the time they need? You know, these kind of two events. You need the C-Series to get to the Paris Air Show and find buyers. You need the cash to stay robust to get it there. Do you think they've managed this properly?
I think they've done a reasonably good job in tough times, for sure. And unfortunately, a lot of families get hurt in this as they get laid off. But there's something where you go, you know, we're just selling this many, we're making this many. We got to stop doing that because it just doesn't make sense. You're also looking at potentially selling a minority share of the transportation business, which could get, you know, depending on what percentage it is, hundreds of millions to billions of dollars. So it's something where there's another opportunity there, which they seem actively in talks around. Where they retain control, but they sell off enough of it to bring in a lot of cash flow and really help on that side. So I think Alain is doing the right things, and he's brought in some major changes in the senior team. At this point, I think they're doing the right things. Time will tell in the next year or two.
Let's talk about just the importance of Bombardier in the Canadian business landscape. How serious would it be if they don't manage to turn this around?
Well, it's something where you look around and you say, what are the great global Canadian competitors? With the BlackBerry RIM not doing so well, Nortel collapsed. The big banks are largely Canada, maybe the US, somewhat international, but not really global players. We don't have a lot of global champions of this size. SNC is, you know, quite a bit smaller. Not a lot of global champions. So Bombardier is one of our brightest ones, one of our biggest ones. We really hope it stays around. It creates a lot of great jobs in Canada, a lot of pride, and brings a lot of export dollars into this country.
We also have a lot of tax dollars invested in it.
Yep.
Is there kind of almost a too big to fail aspect to how much support has been given to this company?
There may be an element of it. I mean, the Quebec government today made the statements about they're supporting them, and that's what they've got to do when you lay off, you know, 1,000 people in Montreal. Plus, you've got to make sure that people are aware that the government cares and are going to provide training for them, are going to provide unemployment, and going to support the company that they hopefully don't lose any more jobs. And maybe some of those jobs might come back somehow in the future. And so I think the government's making the right noises. They pledged loans for the C-Series and also loans to potential customers. So the government of Quebec and Canada are stepping up to the plate, partly because it's such an important player, and also politics enter into it without a doubt.
All right, Karl, we'll leave it there. We appreciate your time today.
My pleasure, Amanda.